Control is expected to be a major topic of discussion after the shootings in El Paso and Dayton. And today, Montana Governor Steve Bullock and former Vice President Joe Biden are giving speeches. Our Caitlin Huey-Burns spoke with Governor Bullock about gun control and the president's rhetoric earlier today.
I'm damn tired of lowering the flags. Like, since the Vegas shooting, I've been asked to lower the flags 9 times for mass shootings. So I think that folks are now turning around and saying that, look, this isn't an issue that ought to divide us, even though in Washington, D.C. it often is divided. And we can come together, not look at it as a political issue. But we have to call out this president when he's using race to divide us, when he's actually saying things that will give comfort, at least, to the white nationalists.
CBSN political reporter Caitlin Huey-Burns is at the Iowa State Fair in Des Moines, and she joins us now. So, Caitlin, do you get the sense that these candidates feel that they've got to make gun control a priority right now, especially to the Iowa audience?
That's right, and it was interesting coming from Steve Bullock, who has won twice in a deep red state, Montana. That's kind of been his pitch, that he can win in Trump country. And here you have him saying that they need to have stricter gun reforms. He also said in that interview, which I thought was interesting, that yes, Democrats need to call out white supremacy, that the president's rhetoric is racist. On the other hand, they also have to speak to issues that Iowans care about. So we heard him and other candidates here likely to bring guns to the forefront, but also talk about issues like the economy, healthcare, and trade here in Iowa. We did talk to some voters earlier today throughout walking around the fair, and a lot of those who were supporting Democrats brought up the issue of gun control and said that it had come up higher on their list of concerns or priorities after these shootings, and they just want to see Congress and the president do something about it.
And you know, healthcare is still the primary focus among Iowa Democrats. Our own CBS News poll shows 89% of Democrats in the state consider healthcare to be their very important top issue after climate change, jobs and wages, and also income inequality. So how are the candidates tackling healthcare in Iowa?
That's right. It's still a top concern among voters that we've spoken to here. What's interesting about how the candidates are framing healthcare in Iowa is that they're focusing on rural issues. They're focusing on expanding Medicare in a place like Iowa, expanding access to healthcare coverage in more rural areas, and also providing aid to rural hospitals. So you see the conversation here a little bit different, but still top of mind. We see that reflected in our CBS News polling. We see that reflected in conversations we're having with voters across the state, that healthcare remains a top concern. And voters that we've talked to are concerned mostly about the costs. They say that this is an economic issue for them, and they're concerned about not only access to health care, but how to pay for it. So look for those kinds of conversations to continue.
And speaking of economic issues, we know that China has said that it's going to suspend purchasing all agricultural products from the U.S. Farming is a major presence in Iowa. Here's what Governor Bullock told you earlier today.
When a farmer in Ripia, Iowa says to me, every time that Trump tweets, we lose hundreds of thousands of dollars, we got to recognize that. And there's no way that payments from the USDA is going to make up for markets lost. I think what he's done is made sort of America first into America alone. The way that we get a fair trade policy is make sure that we can bring in our allies. We can't do this alone, and ask for opening up markets, making sure that what they're doing is not stealing our tech, but don't punish the farmers because of what's happening in other areas.
What are voters telling you about the trade war?
Well, this is an issue where Democrats feel like they can create an opening, especially in rural areas and areas that converted from Obama in 2008 and 2012 to Donald Trump in 2016. So this is an issue that Democrats are talking about. And even though traditionally Democrats have been kind of on a similar side as Donald Trump as it relates to trade, here they are saying that the president is introducing all kinds of uncertainty into the process. And that's kind of what they want to restore. They don't want their farmers or those affected by trade to be caught off guard by policy. They want some consistency, and that's what Democrats are talking about.
And you spoke to one voter about the number of candidates in Iowa. I want to play that exchange for you.
And when you're looking for a candidate, are you looking for someone who is kind of newer to the scene, someone who has experience? Do you need a fresh face or someone that's been around for a while?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah. I like Joe. I always have. However, I'm up to someone else.
So are you going to kind of wait till the candidates narrow down?
Yes, absolutely.
You're kind of overwhelmed by the numbers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It was interesting to hear her say she's going to wait for the field to sort of winnow down, Caitlin.
That's right. If you want a reality check on the presidential race, come to the Iowa State Fair. There were so many voters that we talked to that weren't even paying attention, didn't even know some of these candidates were coming here because, look, they're just getting back from summer vacation. They're here to enjoy all the fried food that we are also enjoying and to really kind of have fun with it. But those Democrats that we did talk to that are going to participate in those caucuses about 6 months from now say that, look, the race is so fluid. They're waiting for the field to narrow. They have, 4 or 5 candidates that they're interested in. Joe Biden came up a lot, Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, and some others, Steve Bullock as well. But they're waiting to see the field narrow. They think there are too many candidates at this point, and they're waiting to make their decision, which is important for our coverage to kind of realize that people are still making up their minds.
Such a good point. And I want to play for you a bite from then Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney when he was at the Iowa State Fair back in 2011.
We have to make sure that the promises we make in Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare are promises we can keep. And there are various ways of doing that. One is we could raise taxes on people. That's not the way. Corporations are people, my friend. We can raise taxes on. Of course they are. Everything corporations earn ultimately goes to people. So, where do you think it goes? What? Whose pockets? Whose pockets? People's pockets. Okay, human beings, my friend.
Oh, it's still so hard to watch, but that exchange didn't hurt Romney for the nomination. He did lose the Iowa caucus to Rick Santorum. So remind viewers just how important the event is to Iowa voters.
Right, he still won the nomination, but that refrain really stuck with him throughout the campaign. It was something that Democrats went after him on. And so the Iowa State Fair is so important for Democrats to introduce themselves to voters, all these candidates to introduce themselves to voters, be talking on that soapbox. You can create a viral moment. You can create a moment that people remember you for. I will say, though, that this afternoon, as we've been preparing for this live chat, we have been really sampling the food, which is kind of the most important part, at least of today, I will say. So our producers Adam and Emma brought us this lovely fried rib wrapped in bacon and fried. So that's kind of what we're paying attention to today before the soapboxes.
It doesn't look good to this vegetarian, I will tell you that. You seem to be enjoying it. You seem to be enjoying it.
I only have one.
Don't go too crazy. The network only gives you $15 for lunch. Caitlin, I want to thank you.
Great thing is you can get it for $6.
$6. Good to know. Buy 2 and pick me up a funnel cake, if you will. Caitlin Huey-Burns, thank you very much for joining us.